that they can do it. So they're like, okay, now I know how to do it. Alrighty, so let's flip this over. Materials. These are items you're going, or maybe I'll just remember to bring my own. Because with when you have a lot of documents, if you just have a regular folder, everything will slip right out, and it's all over the floor. But if you have a 3-ring binder with these rings, then nothing will fall out, and everything will be organized, and you won't have to go through everything trying to find it. You'll just turn the pages, especially if you have tabs to put on here. So a 3-ring binder is something very smart to have. A color highlighter. Mm-hmm. So a highlighter, let's see, I should have one over here. A highlighter is not a marker. It's something that you can, here's one. Oh, yes. Thank you, you've got one there too. So this is a highlighter. Mm-hmm. A highlighter, you can still see the word, right? But if I use a marker, here's a red marker. If I use a marker, then it's really hard to see. So you don't want to use a marker. You want to use a highlighter. All right? So those are the examples there. So highlighter is good because we're going to be, as you're going through our worksheets, you can highlight and make notes. Good students always take down notes and put little pieces of information on their worksheets. This textbook that you have, you can borrow, but please do not write in it. Don't highlight in it. But I will give you copies of the chapters that you can take home with you. Okay? That's what you can write on. Bless you. All right. USB saving device. I don't know if anyone has one now. I'll have to bring one, a USB drive device. But that's something to bring. Not yet. You won't need it until a little later. Headphones or earbuds. So if you notice, we have headphones already attached. They can be taken off. Now, you're welcome to use them if you don't mind that they've been used by other students. All right? You can get your cloth if you want and wipe it down. Get your cloth and wipe it down. Oh, this is my cloth, isn't it? You can get it. You can wipe down the ear parts if you want and wipe it down if you need to use. Or you can bring your own earbuds, okay? But you're welcome to borrow these if you'd like. Put this back. Is it this one? Okay, thank you. All right. Expectations. Please come to class every Friday. If there's a week or two that you can't come, I understand. Life happens. Just let me know so that I save your spot. There may be more students wanting to come in, and I don't want to give away your spot if you plan on returning. And again, I do hope I want to carry all of you through to the last day so that we can all celebrate what we've learned together. It says here, bring your class textbook, but I will have your class textbook. At one time, you were allowed to purchase the book. I can check if you're interested in purchasing one. I don't know. There's another edition. Let's see. And I've learned that this edition is exactly the same as this book. This is the 5th edition. This is the 6th edition. But when I've looked, everything is the same. So I'm sure that if you'd like to take a picture of this later and take a picture of the ISBN number, you can, and maybe check and see if you can purchase it online. I will check with Evelyn to see if she can purchase them for you or not, okay, and how much that would be. But that's the textbook. Otherwise, you're welcome to borrow the class set, and I will give you copies of the chapters. All right, so no need. Please participate in all learning activities. So we will be working together. There's going to be times where we will be, because it's an ESL, English second language class. That doesn't seem to flow very well. ESL, English as a second language.
As a second language.
English as a second language class. We're going to be using conversations, using the new vocabulary that we learned. And that's going to be fun. So you'll be asked to pair up with someone. So we'll be doing that. And then come prepared to learn, all right? So when you come, you're coming ready to learn. These 3 hours are going to go so quickly, all right? And we talked about our nutrition break that we'll have. And let me move this up. Attendance, we talked about participating and dropping. If again, let me know if you're going to be on a vacation or something's happening that I can expect you to return. And the rest is, I think I've covered everything. Are there any questions at all? Yes.
Like 10, 15.
Oh yeah. You know what? That was what. Thank you. I don't know how many times I've read this and I've edited it, but it should be 10:15 to 10:30. Okay. Thank you. Let me fix that right now. So that. And on yours, if you can make that correction, go ahead and cross that out and put 10:15 to 10:30. We'll take our break. Okay. All right. When you sign in, here's an example. We have the date. Today is September 6th. I don't know if you can see that. It's really small. I know some of you are used to just checking the box. But what you're going to do is you're going to write in the time that you get here. Now, class starts at 8:45, and it ends at 11:45. But let's say you got here right now. Well, it's not 8:45, it's 9:04. So you're going to write down the time you get here. So let's say that this is me. I got here at 9:04, and I'm going to leave at 11:45. Let's say you got here on time. Okay, I got here at 8:45, and I'm going to leave a little early. I'm going to leave after break, 10:30, which is fine. Or let's say I'm here. I got here on time. I'm going to stay here for the whole class. Okay, so just put down the time you get here and the time you leave. That way, when I enter your attendance, I'm writing down how much time you put in to the class, okay, for the office. All right, so that's that. All right, so now I'm going to get into my syllabus or my slideshow. All right, and reduce this. So here's our agenda. I'm going to try to have this every Friday when you come in. We'll start off with the agenda. I've already talked about the attendance roster. We've already gone over our syllabus. And when you go to high school or when you go to any university, a professor will always have a class syllabus. And a syllabus is the paper that we just went over. A syllabus is a contract between the teacher and the student. It's telling you what the class is about. It's telling you what you should expect, what you will learn, and it answers any questions you might have about the class. So that's what it means by a contract between the teacher and the student. This here are promises of what I or what you expect me to teach you. Okay? The routine, signing in, we're going to use the hand sanitizer. You're going to learn to turn on, and when you come in, the routine is going to be different. After you sign in, while you're waiting for class to begin, you will be practicing your typing skills. How many of you know how to type? How to really type? This isn't typing. Let's see. Let me make sure. Is this off? Okay. This isn't typing. Okay, that's not typing. And this isn't typing. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to put this so you can see me. Okay. This isn't typing either. I had someone that, this is not typing, using two fast fingers, right? Typing is using all your hands, and you're doing it accurately, and you don't even have to look at your fingers. That's not typing either, looking at your fingers. All right? You will learn how to type without looking at your fingers if you're diligent and practice. Okay? And, okay, so we're set there. That's not, I keep looking at that clock. That clock is inaccurate, but the digital is. All right, so let me go on to the next. Did I turn this off? All right, turning on the computer. So we will do this later. If you'll notice, we have these two buttons here. We have this button here, and this is called a tower. And we'll learn that this is a CPU. I'll get into that in a minute. But your CPU is where it's this big black box here. And you will find that your power button is right on your lower right-hand side. So if this box was turned on its side, you press that button there. And then the computer is on, but now you want the monitor to be on, and you'll notice there's an on button here. Okay? But we'll continue. On. All right. I don't think we'll sign on yet. So, computer basics. Let me ask again. How many of you know how to use a computer? Can you raise your hand? How many of you know how to use a computer? Okay. Now, if we have a level 1 all the way to a level 10, right? We have, here's a 5. And 10 being, yes, I know everything about the computer. And 1 being, I don't know that much. How many of you are between a 1 and a 5? How many of you got 1? How many of you are like maybe a 5 or a 7? You're pretty familiar. How many of you are a 10? Why are you in here? You can help me. You can help me. Okay. Good. I'm glad a lot of you are way over in here because that's what this class is for. It's to help you with questions that some people are like, oh, you don't know that? You know, are those your kids? Your grandkids? You're like, how do you do this? Can you show me? Can you fix that for me? Right? So, well, you're going to be able to go home and tell them some things. So our first chapter is chapter 1, all about computer basics. You can open your book now if you like. Page 1 goes over our learning objectives, what you're going to learn today. We're going to learn later on to turn on and off the computer. We're going to practice that a few times. We're going to learn the major parts of the computer. You may know what we're doing. And we're going to talk with our classmate next to us about the computer. Okay, that's page 1. Pages 2 through 3 goes over all of the words. And I have another, let's see, I want to put up another slide to show that, give me 1 minute, let me find it, chapter 2. This one goes over the words a little bit with pictures, which I prefer. So I'll show you this one right now. instead of just a list, you will see the list in your book, pages 2 and 3. You'll see the pictures in here, and some of them will match up here. So if you want to see something a little closer, it's there. The definitions in here will also be up here. But this is called the CPU. And the CPU, if you look here on number 1, has a long name. It says Central Processing Unit.
Processing unit.
Oh, that's Central Processing Unit. You don't want to say, turn on the Central Processing Unit, please. Turn off the Central Processing Unit, please. Is your Central Processing Unit on? No, you don't want to say that. You just want to say CPU, right? CPU, that's the acronym for Central Processing Unit. And this is the brains of the computer, right? It's where all the thinking is going on. Everything is stored in the brain. Now this, I don't know if you've heard it called a tower. It's called a tower when it's standing up. But our CPU is laying flat, and the monitor is on top of it. Oops. This is the CPU right here. Okay? The brains of the computer. Next, we have the power button. Now, this power button, you've seen this on a lot of devices. It turns glows, especially if you have a computer game, right? Your husband or your son has a computer game at home. You'll see it glow. Our on and off button is right here on the monitor and right here on the CPU. Okay? So you have to turn both on in order to start working. The power button. Next we have this. This is the monitor. This monitor right here. This is the monitor where you have the screen, and we'll talk about the screen in a minute, but this monitor is the part of the computer that you look at to see your work, sort of like a television, right? Like a television. Everything is in the monitor. Now the monitor, what you don't realize is you can move it up. Maybe you do know. You can move it down, depending on how tall you are. You can tilt it forward. You could tilt it back. So we'll learn how to adjust it to our needs in a few minutes. Next, we have the screen. And we want to not mix the two up. Whoops. There we go. Screen. So this front part here is called the screen. And that word can be used for your cell phone. You have your screen, right? Or it could be used for this. This is a screen. Or your TV screen, right? This is the monitor. This is the screen, all right? It is the part of the monitor that lights up and shows what's happening, what you're viewing. So we have monitor and we have screen. Next, we have the keyboard. We have the keyboards in front of us. If it's in your way, you can move it up so it's out of your way. You can just put it right there, just out of your way, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so you can have your book there. It's the part that you type on. It has all, oops, mine's upside down. It has all the letters, and it has symbols up here that you'll need. And functions. And these are two different kinds of keyboards. They have so many different kinds that you can embellish your own desktop with. Then, of course, we have the mouse. We have the one that you have, which is attached. And then we have the wireless one, which is the one I have here, which works on a battery. Okay? It's the small oval piece that you can use to move one part of the screen to the other. And I like to draw a picture of my mouse. And have you ever wondered why it's called a mouse? Why is it called a mouse? You know, doesn't it kind of look like a mouse? I think it does. It looks like a mouse. Yeah. So it looks like a mouse. That's a mouse. And mouse. And we will learn later the different, well, maybe we should right now. When you're looking at the mouse, there are two areas that you can click. Clicking is when you press and lift. Press and lift. You'll hear a click. You can kind of hear that. Oops. Go back. You turn this off while I'm doing that. We have the scroll wheel, this right here where you're going. If you move it up and down, you can keep going up or go down. And you do that with your cell phone. I'm going to keep referencing the cell phone because we're more familiar with our smartphone. If you want to see things that are down here, you go up, 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 right? You kind of push your finger up, right? Or maybe you'll go down or you'll go side to side, right? Well, this scroll bar helps you move everything up and down. We have the left button. When you're holding this, you're going to have your two fingers up here, and you're going to do most of your clicking with your index finger. Click, 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 and you're selecting. We're going to learn later what the right button does. We don't really use the right button as much, or maybe we don't know that we can use the right button. So we'll be learning about that. When we are going to sign on to our computer, we will need to sign in using this username and this password. It's going to be important to know how to use the mouse because wherever you move the mouse, that's where you're going to move the cursor. And we'll learn more. There's a lot of words. Please don't worry if you are feeling a little overwhelmed about all the words we're using. We will explain it in more detail later. But this is cursor. Cursor. The C makes the sound. Cursor. Cursor. And the cursor is usually the blinking. Sometimes it'll look like a long eye. And that's where your mouse, where your mouse is. And usually that's kind of flashing, letting you know that's where the mouse has ended, right? So if I move this, there we go. This is, right now my cursor is an arrow. And I'm going to click that. So the two parts at the top of the mouse is used to control the mouse movement. What I was telling you is that when we are doing this, we're going to have two fields that we will go into. You'll need to move the mouse around to move your cursor, the arrow, where you want it to go. And when you decide where it's going to go, then you left click to select that space. Okay? Here is the desktop. And desktop is number 8, desktop. This desktop, at least our desktop that's set up, will start with a blue screen. I don't know if it'll still have this picture. It may look a little different. But this is an example of a desktop. When you've turned on your CPU and the computer screen will light up, this will be the screen, the first screen. Think of it as the front door to the computer. You see the front door, and you see these pictures here. And these pictures have a name. They're called icons. So people will know that you are computer literate if you're using the correct words. Icons. The little pictures up there. We'll learn more about those later. But the desktop will have a blank screen, and then some of your programs and apps are going to be here. Down here at the bottom, maybe I have this zoomed in so you can see more of it. There we go. Here you can see the bottom. There's this bar at the bottom with more icons on it. You can see a folder here. So this is called the desktop. The desktop. Mm-hmm. And the desktop is the screen that appears when you turn on the computer. And there's the word again, icons. You'll see the icons and the apps. The icons represent different things. Here's a trash bin. You can throw things away.
Trash bin.
You have a Google Chrome. We use that on our phones, don't we? Google Chrome to search or to browse. And then we have the internet here to get to the internet. So we have different things here. Down here we have an open file, and there's nothing in this file. It's empty. You can see it's empty right there. All right. Desktop. This is a laptop computer, different from our desktop. The laptop is different because it doesn't need a mouse. You can connect a mouse to it if you want, but we have this little area here, which is the touch pad. Thank you. The touch pad right here. Here's the keyboard. Here's the monitor and the screen. And a lot of times, some old laptops, it has an area where you can put a CD in, and an area where you can put in a USB drive device. But a lot of them don't even have that anymore. You just save everything to the cloud. A computer that is one piece and easy to carry around. And again, the reason why it's called a laptop is because when you're sitting down, you have your lap. This is called your lap. You can have it right on your lap. Laptop. Laptop computer. The part of the computer that produces sound. Now here, this is old school. These are speakers. As obvious, you can see them. We don't need to have external speakers anymore because it's inside the CPU. You'll hear the volume come out to the front there. But those are speakers, 2 of them. And then later we're going to learn to drag. This is dragging. When you click on something using your mouse and drag it somewhere. We'll be learning that later on. And dragging, I like to demonstrate this. I'm too small, so I can't drag a person. But here's my chair. And to drag something, here's lift. I'm going to lift this. Put it over here. But to drag something is to get it and dragging it. Dragging it. I'm dragging my chair, right? So that's what you're going to do here. You're going to drag your icons around.
Well,
yeah. To move your mouse and to move something to a different place on your screen. So you'll hear that drag. Why don't you drag it to the trash can? And that's what they're doing here. They're going to throw it away. All right. So now we're going to talk about parts of the computer. Let's see. Oh, this one is the other. This is a review for next week. Go back here now. Our verbs. These are the action words that we're going to be doing today. We're going to turn on to give power. We have to the computer CPU. We're going to turn off. I showed you press, which is to press the mouse and then let go. Click is that sound you'll hear. Go to. When I am going to ask you to turn off or to close your computer, you're going to get your mouse and the cursor, you're going to move it to the X to close it. I'm going to say go to the X and close it, or go to the icon and double click on that. So go to. I'll be using that a lot. Select. You do that on your phone a lot when you're shopping. And you're looking through your phone, ooh, I like that. And you click, you touch that little button, right? You're selecting it, right? You're selecting to choose a letter, word, sentence, paragraph, or program. Shut down, turning it off. We're going to use the start menu to do that. And then I just demonstrated drag. So those are all verbs that we'll be doing. All right, computer basics. Before we start on that, I want to ask you, what can you do with a computer? Why do we need to learn about the computer? We have our cell phone. Why do we need to learn? Why do we need computers? What do we use computers for in our lives? Can you think of anything? Why do we need?
To process some documents.
Process documents. Work. Someone said work.
Play game.
Play game. What else do we do with a computer?
Watch the TV program.
We can watch TV, even on our cell phones, right?
And that was too small.
What was that?
That was too small.
Yes. Sell us more things, all right? We got to be careful about that. Well, what about you're looking for a job? And if you're old school like me, you want to go in and get a piece of paper so you can sit down and write everything on there, right? But now they're saying, oh, just go online.
Yes.
And you can apply for a job there. And you're like,
Must use computer.
how do I do that? Go to the library. Hopefully there's a very nice librarian that'll sit with you. But you'll know how to do that. Oh, okay. You'll be able to say,
what's your website address so that I could do that? Or what's your email so I can send a letter to your manager? Things like that. So, well, let's see. Those are all good things. Applying for a job. So you need to know how to use the computer for that. Type a letter. We are sending text messages to people, but there are times where you need to type a letter. It's like, I want to send a letter to my principal because I'm very upset that my children have to be outside in 100-degree weather for a pep rally, and so I'm going to send a letter. You can't text the principal. You want to send a letter, an email. Make a picture or a graph. Ooh, how many of you are very creative? Like to draw, crochet, paint, or just appreciate art, play, touching things. A lot of the creative people love to do pictures and graphs. My son is taking a computer graphics class right now at the high school. Usually when you're very creative, when you get a flyer in the mail and it has half off stars and only $29.99 and go here and all these pictures. Well, someone designed that, right? And I have this picture here that I kept from a student that was very creative. And he or she, I think it was he, did this on the computer. And so we'll have a day where we'll get to play on the computer and draw things, designs. I mean, this would have been nice if it was in color. Very colorful. So we could do that on the computer, designing. Find maps and driving directions. We do that on our cell phone, right? Google Maps or Apple. Apple, I'm sure, has one too. There it is. We used to use MapQuest at one time. Find information or reports. We need to do that. I have Kaiser. And a lot of times they say, all of your results will be online. Just go on kp.org. And you're like, okay. How do I do that? And you go through and it'll show all of your history, every appointment you had, what your temperature was, what your weight was. Everything is there. All of your children's immunization records are up there. You can print them to give them to your school, to their school. Send and receive email. Translate words. Translate words. We do that already on our phones, don't we? Yeah. Okay. So these are the different parts of the computer. So we're on page 6. So here we have the printer. And the printer, I have it right over here. A lot of us are probably printing already on our phones. We just have an app where we hit print and it'll print at home. Or maybe we can go online and my printer isn't working right now. So I had to open up a Staples app. And I uploaded and printed it at Staples and went over there and picked them up. So there's all the different ways of doing that. Monitor. I have already been using that word. This is the monitor here. CPU, Central Processing Unit. We already know that. This is a different kind of a speaker here. But our speakers are in the CPU. Keyboard. This one here, and then the mouse, and then the speaker. So we already know that. So I think maybe we could take this little quiz. Let's see, is the quiz next? Okay, so we already talked about all of these in the other slideshow. Okay, here we go. So what do we call this part of the computer? Monitor. This is the monitor. I got it wrong. Okay, it's a CPU. Okay, let me go back. I'm giving you all the answers there. Okay, so we have the monitor and the CPU. But what does CPU stand for? It is the brain. Central Processing Unit. Now, nobody needs to, but maybe if you're somewhere, or maybe go to your kids and go, I do. I know it. You don't know it? All right. Speakers. And what do we call this part right here?
Keyboard.
And this?
Mouse.
Very good. You guys got it. All right. It's not break time yet. We still have some time. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to page 9 and we'll talk about the proper way to sit at a computer. So that, have you ever seen people and they have like this covering strapped to their arm, and you ask them, what's wrong? And, oh, I've got carpal tunnel. And it's because they kept using and reusing doing the same movements. Well, you don't want to have hurt wrists or a hurt neck or your back. So if you do these things, these simple steps, you will be able to work on the computer a lot in a better and more healthy manner. So first, we always want to make sure, and again, here we've got a really nice chair. This chair is called a swivel chair, and that's because you can move it around. You can make it go up and down. There's this little handle here, and it's on wheels, so you got to be careful. And you can move up and down. Some places you can move up and down the armrests, right, and go up and down. But you don't have that. You just have a regular chair. But what you can do is you can move your chair forward so you're sitting up. You don't want to have it way back here. Here's the desk, and you're like this, right? And you're slumped over. You want to be able to sit up, so you want to scooch your chair forward so you're sitting, so your back is straight, right? And you want to have good support on your back. So some people will have a pillow behind them or a special chair that will allow better support for the back. But you want to sit up straight in your chair. You want to make sure that your feet are also flat here. So, again, that's why you have this to adjust when you're at home. You'll have a way to adjust to that. You want to make sure that your arm is at an L shape, like this. You don't want to be typing like this. You don't want to be typing like this. You want to have your wrists so that it's as straight a line as possible, not like this, right? You don't want your wrists to be kinked in any way. So keep your wrists straight. So there's the L. The top of the monitor should be at the same level as your eye. So here's the top, and there's the eye. So again, that's why you can adjust this. You can move this up or down, but you want to adjust it where your eyes are. So if you're like me. So you can do that right now if you'd like. Go ahead and adjust and then again, you can tilt it forward or back if you'd like to. Sit with your feet flat. So that's something that you want to do. Hopefully your feet do touch the ground. I know sometimes my feet don't touch the ground. So we've adjusted that to eye level. So that's going to be the first thing you do when you come in. You're going to sit down at your computer and you're going to adjust it. Because this computer lab is used all day long by all different classes and students. And I don't even know if they know how to tilt and move things around. But by the end of the day, by the time you get here, you may need to adjust it. Okay? So now you know you can do that. Here's my mouse. All right. I think what we'll do is since we've already covered all of that, we're going to turn on the computer. And let me show you something first, though. It's going to require me to, let's see. Let me draw a picture of it. And if you need assistance, that's why Jeanette and I are here. When you turn on your computer, you're going to get a green screen. And in the green square, you're going, oh, you know what? And I took a picture of it. I wanted to upload it to the computer. What it's going to look like. Oh, it's not dark gray. So here it is right here, this screen. I'm losing my mouse. Let me make this bigger. So here, what you're going to do is you're going to use your mouse to move it and there you go. So that's what your screen is going to look like. Where did I put there it is. Make this bigger so you can see it. So this is what you're going to see on your computer screen as soon as you turn it on, it's going to have this picture up here. It's going to say other user, and you're going to type in the word CVAS student. Let me put the next one. That one is blank. Okay. So here, what you're going to do is you're going to move your mouse here. Don't turn on your computer yet. We'll do it together in a minute. But you're going to move your mouse cursor here, and you're going to click to select. And you're going to see this flashing cursor that looks like that, like a uppercase I. It's going to look like this. And it might be flashing. And it's going to be right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to type in CVAS space student. Now, to create a space, you're going to hit the space bar. That makes a space, okay? Just like on your cell phone, you might use this, okay? Yeah. No, could I have everyone's attention? So, do people have their screens on? Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't want to have anyone's screens on yet, so I'm already losing people. So we can, not yet. We're not doing this yet. Let's turn off our monitors right now. We're going to turn off our monitors because no one should be doing this yet. Here, we'll do this in a minute. So we're not doing this yet. So no computers should be on yet. We're still watching. Then I'll let you do this. Then we can help it. So you're going to put your cursor, you're going to select it, and you're going to put this in here. All lowercase. No uppercase. CVAS space, and this is the space bar. Student. And then you're going to move your cursor here where it says password. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. Here is uppercase W. To do an uppercase, you're going to hit the shift key and then the W. So you're going to use two fingers, shift, W, and then let go.
Okay.
Because then you're going to do the number 3. So then you're going to hit 3, which is right here. And then this is the letter L. These are all lowercase.
Yes.
LCOMD. Exclamation mark. Now the exclamation mark, that symbol is on the number 1. And to get that, you have to hit the shift key again. You hit the shift key. Please don't hit caps lock, because if you hit caps lock, everything's going to be capitalized. And then you say, teacher's not working. And it's going to be because you hit caps lock. You hit the shift and then the exclamation mark and let go. Now, what you're going to do is, while you're doing all of this, you're not going to see it. It's going to be all black dots. And you're not going to know if you did it right or not. You're going to move your cursor. Let's say, here's my arrow. You're going to click and hold. And if you click and hold here, it's going to look like an I. I think it's going to look like this in that box. If you click and hold it, you'll get to see if you did this right or not. Once you've done that, then you can hit this arrow, which is selecting it to enter. All right? Let me show you. I want to demonstrate it first, which requires me to turn off my computer and turn it back on. So it's shutting down. It'll take a few minutes. I still have the monitor on. There's no need to turn it off. Waiting for the light to go off, and we can do it. There we go. Okay, so now I'm turning on my monitor and my CPU. It will take a minute to be projected. This. I put all my stuff. I'm always losing. Mouse? Where did I put my mouse? Oh, this is it. I thought it was wired. Let that wire belong to it. Okay, so here we go. let me make this bigger for everyone. For those of you in the back, and zoom in so you can see this better. So that's the screen I was telling you. The cursor is already there. And if I move my arrow, is it flashing? No, it's not flashing. So it's already there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type CVAS space bar to move it over just once. Don't hold it down. If you hold it down, it'll go. Oh, watch, I'm going to hold down my space bar. It's going all the way across. You don't want that. And you go, teacher, why isn't it working? Well, you got too many spaces. All right, I'm going to go back using the backspace. Just hit it once. Boom. Little tiny space. Then I'm going to do student. So that's STUDENT. Done. Now I'm going to go on to the next field where it says password. I'm going to move my arrow. Notice it's an arrow until I get in there, and then it looks like that I cursor. I'm going to click to select. There it is. Now I'm going to do uppercase. So Shift W once. And then the number 3. Do you see what I mean? It's all black. And then LCOME. Uppercase, Shift 1. Now, that eyeball. It's right over here. Do you see it right? Let's see. Right here. Now, if I click and hold it down, so I'm clicking, I haven't lifted my finger yet. If I lift my finger, it's back to zeros or little dots. So I'm going to hold it down. There. There's the uppercase W, 3, L, COME, exclamation mark. So I did it right.
Right.
If we did anything wrong, then we can just go back and correct it. All right? Sometimes you can just hold it down. What I do is I hold it down with my finger. Let me go back, hold it down. Stay. It's not staying. Well, I want to show you when there we go. And what I can do is I can go back and correct it using the backspace key so I can see it. Okay, now I can do the N and then the E and so on. So you can do that. I haven't lifted my finger yet. Okay, let go. Okay, so let me do that one more time. I just need, I'm going to put on I'm going to let you now go ahead and turn on your computer. Now you can turn on your CPU and your monitor. If your monitor is already on, then just turn on. If your CPU is already on, then just turn on your monitor. Looks like it's already on. So you just need to turn on your computer now. And I'm going to do likewise, but I have to put on a different. My passwords are different, so I have to put mine in differently. So go ahead and do that. Jeanette and I will come around and help you. Again, if you want to help your friend, don't take their mouse and do it for them. Show them, point, tell them, okay?
손이 나야 돼. 신이 space.
Should work.
STU.
So we have the username and password on both sides of the screen.
Next.
Good. And select right here. It's okay. You can lift the mouse if you need to.
Here.
He's getting it. He's just moving it. There we go. And click.
Okay.
There we go. Now I'm going to hold this down so you can see it. Go ahead and type uppercase. So hold this down and then do W. I'm going to click here for you. Okay. Now let go. 3. L C O M E and an exclamation mark. Shift, hold it down, and then an A. And this is because when you come in tomorrow, you're going to need to know how to turn it on so you can start. Okay? So to turn it off, you're going to move your cursor. Let's see, you're already on desktop, which looks like this. Mine has a lot of icons. To turn off your screen, you're going to move your mouse and your cursor all the way down to the lower left hand. And down here, when you click this button here, I don't know if you can see this right here. It looks like a window, an icon of a window, and it's black with a blue window. You're going to click there, and when you click and select it, this menu will appear. So I'm going to click. This menu comes up. And right here we have the power button, which looks like that. You're going to click that power button. So I'm going to move my cursor up. And do you see where it says power? It says power. You're going to select. So click right there. And another little window appears. This one here.
Yes.
And it's giving you a choice. Restart. Shut down. Sleep. Let's hit shut down. Because we're pretending we're done. We're going to go home. So click shut down. And if you move your arrow up and down, you can see how to select it. I'm going to click shut down. And it's shutting down. You see it right there. All right? So let's do that. Select the power button. Then click shut down. Once you've shut down, see if you can restart it. If you remember how to restart. Okay? So good. So go ahead and restart. While we are waiting to get in, for me to get in,